Close your eyes, imagine the cold iron, the echoing whispers, the unseen presence. Tonight we journey beneath the historic spans of Pittsburgh's bridges, not just to admire their engineering, but to uncover the dark secrets and restless spirits said to haunt their very beams. Are you brave enough to cross over? It's said that if you stand on the George Westinghouse Bridge at night, the valley breathes. Turtle Creek lies far below, a quiet ribbon of darkness winding through steel and stone, and above it arches one of Pittsburgh's most haunting silhouettes. When it was built in the early 1930s, it was a triumph of modern engineering. But beneath its concrete bones, tragedy took root. A worker, maybe two, maybe more, fell during its construction. Though no records remain, only whispers. In later years, more people died here. There have been many vehicle accidents, and some have taken their lives on the bridge. In fact, at one point, it had one of the highest suicide rates in the country. Lives lost quietly into the dark. Locals say that when fog rolls up the valley, shapes appear along the railings, pale, fleeting, caught between memory and mist. The hum of cars fades. You might hear footsteps, steady, purposeful, but you're alone. The bridge was meant to connect worlds. East Pittsburgh to Forest Hills, but perhaps it connects something else now. Something between the living and the dead. So if you ever find yourself crossing the Westinghouse Bridge after midnight, look down, listen, and maybe, just maybe, you'll hear the breath of the valley, still waiting for the ones who never came home. Now, let's travel to a different part of the city, to a place where a bridge stretches over a deep cut in the earth, where iron and asphalt hang above a hollow once known as Butcher's Run. This is the Swindell Bridge, a forgotten overpass with a heavy soul. From a distance, it's just another span of steel. But for those who've lived nearby, it's something darker. Due to its isolated location and significant height, the bridge began attracting people who committed suicide by jumping from it. This history of tragedy led to the widespread adoption of the nickname the Long Drop. 50 people had jumped. 50 shadows left behind in the ravine below. The city built fences, tall and cold, to keep the living from joining the dead. But grief, as we know, doesn't care about wire mesh. There are stories, passed down through generations, of late-night wanderers hearing footsteps behind them, only to turn and find nothing. Of whispers carried by the wind, soft as apologies. Some claim the air beneath the bridge hums with a strange energy, like metal remembering pain. Swindell is a place of silence. There are no names on plaques, no flowers left on railings. Just a structure that has seen too much suffering. And sometimes, when the fog from the Allegheny River drifts north, the shadows under the bridge seem to move. It's as if the bridge itself is trying to forget what it has witnessed. Before the modern skyline rose, before tunnels carved through the hills, there was the Wabash Bridge, a monument to ambition and to the men who paid for it with their lives. In 1903, during construction, the bridge collapsed. 10 workers plunged into the cold Monongahela River. Only a few were pulled out alive. The others were swallowed whole by the current, their bodies never recovered. For decades after, trains thundered across those arches. Black engines trailing smoke and cinder, their whistles echoing through the valley. Then the rails went silent. The bridge stood empty for years, a skeletal silhouette against the sky, until it too fell, piece by piece, into memory. Today, only the stone piers remain, rising from the water like broken teeth. But the stories persist. Fishermen say they hear the distinct sound of hammering on still nights, like phantom crews are forever rebuilding what time has destroyed. Some swear they see the faint glow of lanterns moving along invisible tracks that once stretched above the water. And if you listen carefully, when the city is quiet, you can sometimes hear a whistle, faint, distant, like a train that will never arrive. The Wabash Bridge is gone. But it seems the line still runs. In the places between worlds. Downtown Pittsburgh hides its ghosts in plain sight. One of them crosses Grant Street, every day, silent, unseen, suspended in time. This is the Bridge of Sighs, a stone walkway linking the old Allegheny County Courthouse to the jail. Stone on stone, hope to despair. It's where prisoners once took their last walk as free men, catching a final glimpse of the outside world. They say the name came from Venice, where condemned souls sighed as they saw daylight for the last time. But here, in Pittsburgh, those sighs became whispers. For years, guards used to hear voices in the corridor long after it had emptied, footsteps echoing between the stone arches, even though no one walked there. Today, visitors report sudden, inexplicable chills when they pass beneath it. A feeling as if someone unseen has just brushed by, still shackled, still waiting for a verdict that will never change. The city's heart beats just outside, the sound of cars, laughter, and city lights. But up there, on that narrow stone bridge, time stands still. Every sigh ever breathed seems to linger in the air. There's a saying among the old steelworkers, in Pittsburgh, even the bridges remember. Every rivet, every beam. Every span was built with hands that bled and hearts that hoped. But the thing about bridges is, they hold everything that crosses them, joy, sorrow, laughter, fear. And sometimes they don't let go. From the ghostly figures on the Westinghouse to the sorrowful whispers of Swindell, from the phantom train on the Wabash to the lingering sighs of the courthouse bridge, each one carries echoes. Echoes of men who fell, of lives ended too soon, of stories the city no longer tells aloud. Yet, in the deep hush of night, when the river mist rises and the city lights shimmer off the steel, you can almost hear them whisper. The bridges are talking, and what they're saying is that Pittsburgh never forgets. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the shadows of Pittsburgh's bridges. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into Pittsburgh's unknown. Stay curious and stay safe.